Bonsoir, bienvenue à notre émission Law, Politics and Society. Non pas moi, c'est Max Socinal. Merci de ce qu'on quitte nous rentrer là aujourd'hui. Comme à l'ordinaire, nous-mêmes dans la communauté, nous connaissons tout le monde qui fait impact sur la vie, que ce soit ces politiciens, ces magistrats, ces city attorneys. Mais il y a un monde qui affecte la vie nous chaque jour. Malheureusement, nous ne connaissons pas de fond en compte. C'est juge. Je ne dis pas dans l'émission Law, Politics and Society. Moi-même avec mes amis, mon partenaire, André Pierre, nous avons mené un juge qui gagne pas ici. André, bonsoir.
Bonsoir Maxo et bonsoir à toute la communauté qui a regardé l'autre émission Law, Politics and Society. Nous avons un show qui est chargé avec information. Nous avons un juge qui est très compétent, qui est là avec nous à là, qui peut discuter, qui peut détailler. Premièrement, justice system, deuxièmement, qui gens que nous-mêmes nous avons engagés dans tout le travail qu'il a fait dans la communauté. Nous avons un juge Jason Black. Et un juge qui était fait à Chicago. Le monsieur était petit, monsieur était décidé pour sortir de Chicago pour venir dans Florida. Et monsieur était Florida presque toute ville. Après ça, là dans le collège en Californie, quand il finit le collège Californie, il a fini là dans l'école de droit, dans Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. Et juge là, depuis le gradué à l'école de droit en 1994, il a commencé à travailler dans Miami-Dade County Attorney's Office comme avocat. Et bien, en 2014, et le gouverneur a été appointé, le gouverneur a été mis comme un juge dans Miami-Dade County comme circuit court judge. L'étape de travail comme avocat pour Miami-Dade County Attorney's Office là, eh bien, bon paquet de cas qui devine devant nous, il fini un paquet de qualité à discuter juste devant le tribunal suprême là. Eh bien, nous sommes bien contents de ce que nos jeunes juges, Jason Black, avec nous à soir. Jason Black, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be part of this show. Welcome to Law, Politics and Society.
Merci beaucoup. Merci, Maxo. Merci, André. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Juge. We know that you have an impact on most of us living in Miami-Dade County, including the Haitian community. But usually they don't know much about the judge. Mm-hmm. Walk us through your path to becoming a judge.
Towards becoming a judge. Okay. Well, in my particular case, I was actually an attorney. You're required to be an attorney, of course, before you become a judge. I was an attorney for 20 years, and I was in public service. I worked for the government. I worked for the Miami-Dade County Attorney's Office. And that's basically like the law firm for the local government. We represent the government, and we really represent the people of Miami-Dade County. Mm-hmm. So I was a litigator. I was in court on behalf of the county and the people of Miami-Dade County, basically defending the county's interests in court. Either defending the county or sometimes bringing lawsuits on behalf of the county. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it would be commercial litigation, basically when the county would be involved in commercial disputes, and I was trying to recover money on behalf of the people of Miami-Dade County, or I was trying to defend the Treasury of Miami-Dade County. Mm-hmm. We'd also do other things for the county commission. We would draft legislation for them. But basically, I was a litigator. I was a trial lawyer. Mm-hmm. After doing that for 20 years, I thought that I'd be up for a new challenge, something like becoming a judge. And as an attorney, you're an advocate on behalf of your client. Like I said before, in my case, the county or the people of the county. But when you're a judge, you're in a different role. And that's someone who has to, of course, decide disputes. So I thought that would be the next natural progression for me. The process for becoming a judge, there's really a couple of ways. There's elections, but I decided to see if I could get appointed. And when there's a vacancy in the middle of a term, then you can be appointed judge. And that's a very rigorous process. You need to apply with a group that's called the Judicial Nominating Commission. And that's basically made up of lawyers from the community. It's a very extensive application. They ask a number of questions. You have to give a number of references and disclose a lot about your work past, lawyers that you've litigated against. And it's a very, very involved process. I believe the year when I was appointed, there were 33 or 34 other applicants. And then the Judicial Nominating Commission, this body that I mentioned, they decide who they want to interview, and then they bring you in for interviews. And then that's also a very rigorous process. And then from there, they come up with names that they want to nominate to the governor. So I was in that smaller group of people who were interviewed, and then the still smaller group of people who were nominated. And then the governor has his own round of interviews and scrutiny where they decide who ultimately they're going to appoint. And so I was fortunate enough to make it through that process, and then in the end, the governor appointed me. So after my career as a lawyer, I'm now a judge.
So you've been on the bench for about a year. I know being an attorney, being a trial lawyer, require you to be very aggressive. But as a judge, how compassionate that you are for a community, for minorities like the Haitian community coming in front of you?
Well, I would say that as a judge, I don't make a distinction between the type of people in front of me. But it is important that as a judge we show understanding and compassion for the litigants that come before us. And as you know, of course, South Florida is a very diverse community. People from all kinds of backgrounds, nationalities, countries. Of course, a wonderful Haitian community among the other minority ethnic Latin communities that we have. And as you say, as a lawyer, sometimes you need to be aggressive. You need to advance your client's cause. As a judge, it's a very different role. And a lot of people, especially lawyers, aren't familiar with what the court system is like. So it is very important that when we have people like that come in, we take the time so that they're not confused, they're not overwhelmed, that we try to show some sensitivity for when those people come in. And occasionally I do get people from the Haitian community, and I try to treat them like I do all litigants. And that's with respect, with understanding, and sensitivity. Of course, in all cases, we have to apply the law. The law is what governs our society. But there's different ways that you can do that. And one of the things that I strive to do, of course, is to be fair, to be prepared, and to be as understanding to the litigants as I can when they come before me.
Well, I see you a lot out in the Haitian community. I see you at the local churches. I see you eating at Haitian restaurants. I see you at different events. I see you at different activities, which is very important, especially when you're talking about being compassionate and understand the diverse community that we live in. How do you get involved so much with the different communities that you have in this county?
It's true. I do see you, Andre, all the time. We are friends. I see you at many events at the Chamber of Commerce and out in the Haitian community. I think it's, first of all, it's something I enjoy. I really love the Haitian people. They've always been so warm and welcoming to me. I always feel like I'm at home. And so getting to know the Haitian community, the Haitian people, the Haitian culture, the Haitian food.
Right.
You may remember I'm a big fan of akra, especially the spicy kind. So it's something that I personally enjoy, but also I think as a judge it's important to have that kind of interaction with different segments of our community, including of course the Haitian community. Because as a judge, as a circuit court judge, I represent and preside over cases that are really from the entire county.
Right.
So
which is made up of about 2.1 million people?
Yeah, at least, maybe even a little more these days. You know, we just keep getting bigger. So to do that job well, I think it's important to be able to connect with the different areas of the county, the different communities, and the different peoples from different spectrums. So being a part of this, the Haitian community, and I do try to go and I do enjoy it, I think just makes me a better judge and a better person. To be able to relate more to the different people that may come into court with their different backgrounds and their different experiences.
Well, Judge, you know, we're going to get to ask you a few more questions about the distinction between being a judge and being an attorney. But right now, we're going to go on a commercial break, and we'll be back in about a minute and a half. Remember, you are watching Law, Politics, and Society. We'll be right back.
Sinal Consulting Group, c'est un consultant Business Center pour business plan, incorporation, 501c3 for non-profit, income tax préparation. Sinal Consulting Group, c'est la référence. 305 308 82 29. Office là offre tout, life insurance, money management et investment. Relais jodi a pour une consultation gratuite 305 308 82 29.
Si vous avez besoin d'un avocat pour immigration, cas criminel, l'État et fédéral, relais avocat dans le bureau André Pierre dans 305 398 96 46. Pour accident machine, dérangement dans le travail, glisser et tomber, relais avocat André Pierre dans 305 398 96 46. Ou ka gen droit jusqu'à $10,000 dans bénéfice. C'est seul un avocat qui a fait rejoindre l'argent. Nous ici là pour servir. Si vous pas touché, nous pas touché. Ou pas le droit frais avocat avec dépenses. Relais avocat André Pierre dans 305 398 96 46 ou soit aller dans 550 Northeast 124e rue dans North Miami.
Merci d'être été avec nous. Nous rappelons regarder Law, Politics and Society. Non pas moi, c'est Max Osinal. Je dis, on a parlé avec juge Jason Block qui a un impact sur la vie nous toutes nous vivons dans Miami-Dade County. André?
Yeah, ou bien dit Maxo, on connaît juge la gain impact sur tout nous qui dans Miami-Dade County. Judge Jason Block, you know, how do you challenge, you know, the prosecutor and defense attorney once someone appear before you? Because once you have been accused of a crime, you're no longer Maxo or Andre, you have been referred to as the defendant. How do you treat that defendant as an individual rather than just another number that appeared before you?
Right. Well, you know, we're fortunate in that we live in a society that has basic protections for every citizen. And of course, there's some very fundamental protections that we have for criminal defendants. And I know you know that because you, of course, are a lawyer and do criminal work of your own. But for the benefit of some of the viewers, when you're in a criminal courtroom, each person has their role, each person or each officer. So I, as the judge, have a role. And then you mentioned the prosecutor. Of course, they're the ones that bring the charges and try to convict the defendants. And of course, there's the defense attorney. And in many cases, it's a public defender, which is an attorney hired at government expense. So the way it's set up with our system of advocacy, each party is supposed to do their role. So the prosecutor is supposed to, the prosecutor has a responsibility of proving that case beyond a reasonable doubt. Defense attorney has to represent that defendant. Now, in the vast majority of cases, they do what they need to do.
Right.
And as a judge, I'm more of a referee. I'm calling balls and strikes, as the current Chief Justice of the Supreme Court like to put it during his confirmation hearing. Occasionally, however, we need to give a certain extra attention just to make sure, as you say, that a defendant isn't just merely treated like a number, isn't falling through the cracks. Because although in the first instance, it's up to the lawyers to ensure that these constitutional protections are enforced, in the end, it's up to the courts to do that as well. And as I say, in most cases, that's being done in any event. But we're sort of there as a backstop to ensure that. So in all cases, we monitor the progress of the cases. We make sure that both the prosecutor's doing their job as well as the defense attorney is doing their job.
For lawyers and prosecutors, I mean, we walk into a courtroom as if we're walking into our living room. But for a defendant, it's frightening, you know, to walk into a courtroom. You know, the judge is sitting all the way up there. Then you got the lawyers, you know, on both sides, you know, arguing the cases. How do you make the defendant feels that he or she is at home or he or she is, you know, is being protected and getting a fair, whether that be a fair trial or a fair hearing or a fair deal or a fair plea bargain?
Well, you know, one of the, as I said, one of the great benefits and privileges that we have of living in the society is an independent judiciary, and a court system is there for the people. And my answer might be a little bit different if I was in a civil court presiding over that, where you might have a party who doesn't have a lawyer, than it would be in a criminal court. So, I mean, as far as I am presiding over the criminal division, as you mentioned, or in the criminal division, I don't know that I would say I would make a criminal defendant feel at home, but I would want to make sure that they understand that they are going to be treated fairly, and that their constitutional rights are going to be protected, and that at all stages they understand what is happening, because we don't want people who are leaving the courthouse or leaving an experience with the justice system not knowing what happened or thinking that they haven't gotten their fair shake. So I go out of my way to make sure, for example, if someone's taking a plea bargain, which often happens, that they understand exactly what the plea bargain is, that they understand exactly what rights they have, and they understand that if they go and enter into this plea bargain, that they're going to be waiving their rights. And I won't take a plea of guilty unless and until I understand the defendant understands that. I also try to, whenever possible, to be sensitive to their needs. For example, particularly when you're talking about lower level crimes, maybe people who are first offenders, people who might be right on that line where they could have a productive life with no further interactions with the criminal system, or go the other way and really become hardened criminals. And in those cases, for example, if there's a new court appearance that they need to come in for, and it conflicts with their work schedule or school, I will try to work with them to make sure it's convenient for them. And again, I'm not talking about the very serious hardened criminals who are probably in jail as it is. I'm talking about those people where if they lose their job because they have to go to a court date, that just might make the spiral even worse. So we don't bend over backwards for them, but to the extent that we can accommodate our goals in the criminal system and still accommodate their needs and maybe make it so that they can have a better life, law-abiding life, that's better for them and the community, then we'll try to do that as well.
In your court, Judge, do you have any alternatives instead of putting somebody in jail, having a program that the person can go to for rehabilitation instead of going to jail?
Well, there's different alternatives to jail, and there's really not time to go into all of those, probation and things like that. But one of the more effective ones, and this really has to do with defendants who are a little bit younger. And again, like what I was just describing, those young people that are right on the cusp of going either in a good direction or in a bad direction. Miami-Dade County Corrections has a program called Boot Camp. And if you get the right candidate and you enroll them in this program, it's a very intensive program. It's called Boot Camp. It's almost like a military program, which emphasizes discipline and respect for authority and also education. That program is extremely effective. It's approximately 90% of the graduating cadets after going through this program do not engage in what we call recidivism. They do not have a repeat interaction with the criminal justice system. So as I said, it can be great for them and it can be great for the community because you can really save an individual at this very tenuous part of their life.
Judge, faut nous dire que juge là dit un paquet d'informations là et nous comprendre exactement qui ça juge là dit nous et juge là dit qu'on ça li important pile l'autre de gon juge qui comprend nous les finons juge qui participe avec les finons juge qui compassion les qui la fait décision son cas l'opérer devant qui gens que li essayer pour voir que pour aider ou dans circonstances qu'on y a. So encore Maxo nous dit merci pour toute information ça bail et n'a continuer avec juge là n'a prend une petite pause pour publicité n'a retourner tout à l'heure. Merci en pile, pas oublier de regarder Law, Politics and Society.
Sinal Consulting Group, c'est un consultant Business Center pour business plan, incorporation, 501c3 for non-profit, income tax préparation. Sinal Consulting Group, c'est la référence. 305 308 82 29. Office là offre tout, life insurance, money management et investment. Relais jodi pour une consultation gratuite 305 308 82 29.
Si vous avez besoin d'un avocat pour immigration, cas criminel, l'État et fédéral, relais avocat dans le bureau André Pierre dans 305 398 96 46. Pour accident machine, dérangement dans le travail, glisser et tomber, relais avocat André Pierre dans 305 398 96 46. Ou ka gen droit jusqu'à $10,000 dans bénéfice. C'est seul un avocat qui peut faire joindre l'argent. Nous ici là pour servir. Si vous pas touché, nous pas touché. Ou pas le droit frais avocat avec dépenses. Relais avocat André Pierre dans 305 398 96 46 ou soit aller dans 550 Northeast 124e rue dans North Miami.
Merci d'être été avec nous. Nous rappelons regarder Law, Politics and Society. Non pas moi, c'est Max Osinal. Je dis, on a parlé avec juge Jason Block, un juge qui est dans Miami-Dade County qui chaque jour prend décision pour venir. Judge, you are not as fortunate as many judges. You've been on the bench for about a little bit over a year, most likely going into 2 years, and you are up for elections. Tell us a little bit about the elections.
Okay, well, because I was an appointed judge, it's true, I do have to stand for election in the next election, which is going to be August of 2016. So I am obviously campaigning and running, and I would request that your viewers consider keeping me on the bench. I'm out there, as I said before, visiting various aspects of the county, interacting with very different people, with different communities. And I would hope they would consider keeping me on for a lot of reasons. And if I might.
Sure, go ahead.
Sure.
As I indicated, I do have a lot of experience. I was an attorney for 20 years in public service representing the county and the people of Miami-Dade County. And also the way that I was selected to be a judge, I went through that screening process, that really rigorous selection process, which really required an extensive evaluation and scrutiny of my background, of my cases, and my qualifications. And of course, I now have this experience of being on the bench, of being a judge and presiding over cases. So I also have a number of endorsements from members of the legal community, respected members of the legal community, and elected officials. So again, I would just humbly ask that your viewers consider keeping me on the bench and continuing to do the job. I'm working hard every day to be a good judge.
And I understand that you run in county rights, so wherever that the person lives, that person can vote for you.
That's exactly
in
right.
Miami-Dade County.
Anywhere in Dade County, North Miami, Aventura, Florida City. It's a big county. El Portal, any place in
All
Miami-Dade.
34 cities in Miami-Dade County, and those that live on unincorporated Dade can also vote for you. It appears that you have cross-based support. You know, you have support. Whether that would be the Haitian community, the Black community as a whole, the Jamaican community, the Bahamian community. You go to Hialeah, you have the Cuban supporting you. You go to 36th Street, you know, you find the Dominicans are supporting you. You find the Puerto Ricans. So you go to South Dade, you know, you go to Homestead, you go to Florida City. You got the mayor there, you know, pushing for your re-election. You come up here to Miami Gardens, North Miami Beach. How were you able to gather so much support in a short little time that you have been a judge?
Yes, and I am very humbled and grateful to have gone to these different areas and to spoken with so many people from these communities and to have their support. It really warms my heart. And it makes me, gives me all the more confidence to continue what I'm doing. And I've done that, I think, just by going and visiting these communities, meeting with these people, sharing with them my credentials, my qualifications, talking about my experience, talk about what I do on the bench as a judge. Some of these people have actually seen me in court. And I think that's the way I've been fortunate enough to have them say, you know what, Judge Block, we're going to support you and we think you're doing a good job and we'd like to keep you.
It just seemed to me that, you know, if it was the same process that you went through the first time, this would have been a walk in the park for you, because with your background, with your experience, with your knowledge, and also being able to gather so many leaders and communities around you, to me, I think you're perfect fit to be elected as another 6 years as a circuit court judge.
Judge, I know elections is very expensive. For a judge who's running county right, it is even more expensive. Are you looking for any kind of support?
Well, it's true. Campaigns, all political campaigns, cost money to run, and judicial campaigns are no exception. So fundraising is an aspect of that. Judges are not allowed to solicit contributions themselves, but what we are allowed to do is set up a committee of responsible persons who do that for us. And I'm fortunate again to have a very good group of people that are on that committee people from the Cuban bar. Corey Lopez Castro is the treasurer. Marlon Hill is one of the co-chairs of my campaign.
You have Lodi Jean from the Haitian Lawyers Association.
Lodi Jean, who was a former prosecutor, a division chief at the state attorney's office, now an immigration lawyer, and as an officer in the Haitian Lawyers Association, she's my deputy chair. She's been excellent as well, and we're very grateful to have her, as well as other lawyers and other individuals. And we do have a website just for the campaign itself, and that's keepjudgeblock.com. And block is spelled B-L-O-C-H, keepjudgeblock.com.
Okay. And if people want to get a hold of you, I mean, do you have a telephone number that they can contact you if they want to volunteer for the campaign, if they want to talk to the committee, to host a fundraiser, or to even donate to the campaign? How can they do
that?
So?
All the information is on the website as to how they can do that. There's an email address where they can communicate with the committee. And if they wanted to do those other things as well, they can communicate with the committee. KeepJudgeBlock.com.
Juge, merci beaucoup d'être ba nous temps jeudi. Comme à l'ordinaire, temps toujours trop court pour nous parler, mais mes amis, tout comme nous connaissons, élection va venir, qu'il y a juge là dans l'esprit nous pendant que nous pourrons voter. C'est un plaisir pour nous avec vous à soir. Merci d'être quitté nous entrer la CAO et c'est un gros plaisir pour me partager ça avec ma co-host, Maître André Pierre. D'ici là, passons un très bon week-end et à la semaine prochaine.
Okay. So, thank you. Judge, thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup, mes amis.
Nice work. Nice work.